Let's start our Ask Me Anythings with a quarterback question about the quarterbacks that were just drafted here recently. Scam City tweeted the pod. He goes, love the pod. Been a listener since your Bleacher Report days. Pete says, by the way, 50% of the questions now, love the pod, which we've instructed people to do. We will read it if you say love the pod. I think now we should instruct people to give a very specific compliment.
Right.
You know, like, Chris, love your eyes. Or Ahmed, great red pants the other day. You know what I mean?
You're right.
I think if you give a specific compliment,
then you know you're really watching and really invested.
So that'll be the new standard. Specific compliment to either me, Chris, Kristen, who's punching the buttons back there, or Pete, who's yelling in our ears to get on with it. All right. If you had to rank the 2021 draft quarterbacks in terms of their ceiling, if everything went perfectly, would it still be in the same order?
Ooh.
I think that's an interesting question.
That is a good question.
A lot of times we evaluate on, you want to mitigate risk, especially at the top of a draft, right? You don't want to pick a top guy who might be terrible. You want to try to mitigate that risk, which is part of the reason I think you liked Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Kristen, do we have the 2021 draft quarterback rankings there? So there's your top 6 if you're watching on YouTube. Wilson, Lawrence, Jones, Mond, Lance, Fields. So take away the downside.
Yeah.
We're just looking at upside only.
Upside only.
How would that order change?
Ooh, that is a good one. All right, so I do think 1 and 2 are still 1 and 2 for me.
Okay.
Listen, the Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson would be very close. It really would be. Because as I've explained too, Trevor Lawrence still has some untapped potential. And I believe Zach Wilson does too. But like Trevor Lawrence, you know I said when I'm breaking it down, if he could fix some mechanical issues and a few things here and there, he does have the potential to have the strongest arm in football and all of that. So it's right up there with Zach Wilson as far as everything goes right, they reach all their potential, where I just go, okay, it could be superstar. All these guys have a lot of positives to look at as far as that's concerned. Now, after you get to that point right there, that's where it gets interesting. And I think that's where, if we were just going all positives here, and they were going to really, this is where I'd maybe make Justin Fields number 3. I'd make him the next guy. You know, because first off, his running is the most elite of the group. You know, you've heard me say Cam Newton-esque in his build, and he moves really probably better than Cam Newton did coming out of college as far as quickness and just being able to make people miss and doing that stuff. His arm, as we've seen, is freaky strong. It's freaky strong. It's the negatives that, of course, hurt him in my eyes. So I would say I put him 3. And then after that, everything with it, and we're just going total potential here, I'm going to say Trey Lance 4, Kellen Mond 5, Mac Jones 6. I am. Yeah. You know, of course, that's not reality. Like you said, you have to mitigate risk and figure out hey, this is great. This isn't as good. Is this fixable? You know, could this great thing come down a little bit? All of those type of things have to be balanced in evaluating those things. But I think, like in the perfect world, again, if Justin Fields can fix that issue that I've talked about with him throwing the football and some of those things, I would go, oh, no, he could be up in the class with the Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilsons of the world.
Right.
But the big thing is, of course, to me, that's a big if. I'm not sold that it can be fixed, and it's not easily fixed. So that's why, you know, you've seen me have some hesitation about him at times.
And I think that's where people get tripped up on potential. Like,
agreed.
If you're not likely to reach that potential, then it doesn't matter how much potential you have or how much upside you have. Who knows, though?
There's you're right, though. There's different views. Let's just say, like Josh Allen. Hey, there was a lot of people there that saw the talent and things like that, right? Yeah. But they were like, ooh, you know, there's things that concern me about his accuracy. I don't see the potential quite getting there, right?
Right.
You know, and then there was the other ones that did, right? So it's about you're not always going to be right. I know I've been wrong on this thing, too.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're trying to take into account what you think can be done about the weak things to get them better.
Well, like look at like a quarterback like Terrell Pryor.
Sure.
Right? You say, like, super strong arm, what a great athlete, can play all over the field. If he can reach his full potential, there's not many that are going to be better than him out there. And he just didn't reach that full potential in the NFL.
No, and I think that's, you know, it's actually a very good example by you. You're right. Because he could have been superstar at the position if it all goes right.
Yeah.
But there was inconsistencies in that throwing and too many throws, and not to like where I'm saying it's comparable to Justin Fields. I don't want anybody to take this wrong thing.
Yeah.
But to your point, though, just throws where when he was coming out of college, you just went, No, you got to hit that as an NFL quarterback. You don't miss that, and that's why he fell maybe where he was. But yeah, it's about that, and we'll see. That's what's interesting, and that's what was crazy about this year's draft. That's why it was such a controversial year. Yeah, Mac Jones isn't as talented as those guys, but he had very few things you had to really worry about fixing in his game. And then, Lance and Fields had some superstar aspects about their skill level and things, but also some things where I'd go, ooh, that would really worry me. So that's why it was such a controversial year with these top 5 QBs.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.